Fellow Lotus owners, you join me where I'm going to talk through what it's been like owning this Lotus for the last 6 months, but also we're going to do 3 jobs. We're going to put these on to make it look even more like a sport racer than it does. We're going to put this on to replace the silver lettering here, and we're going to put this on, which is a bit of rubber that goes on the petrol cap. Let's get to it. Fairly obvious place to start then with the old petrol cap rubber. Pop your petrol cap, I'm hoping. It comes off very, very easily. Right, for the purposes of comparison, new petrol cap rubber and old petrol cap rubber. Before we put the new one in, it's quite a lot of griminess on here, so got a bit of quick detail to give. I'm going to get all this edge where the new rubber is going to sit. I'm going to get it nice and clean first. Right, I'm not a detailing god, however, it's nice to get things clean. I wasn't sure whether this threaded round, but it doesn't look like it does because there's no place to start the thread down here. This is a sort of sealed unit. Anyway, I've run around there with a nice cloth, and it's a simple. Oh, I like jobs like this. Just pushing the new seal in. That, compared to that, is a nice, oh, I like it, quick and easy job, and if I close it, ooh, somewhat the controversial job, but I don't really care. This car has, it's a 2011 Evora S. It has, though, black vinyl on the roof and on the skirts, I guess you could say. Black wheels, black vinyl roof, and red pipe trim sports racer interior. So it's kind of a sports racer replica. However, sports racers have Union Jack stickers on the side. And that is what I'm doing here. Union Jack. On to the letters. These are chrome. There's nothing really wrong with them, but I've always preferred the look of black. You can order these from Bell & Colville, the sort of Lotus parts provider. Can't remember how much they are. They're not cheap. I guess the alternative is to remove these and plastic dip them and then put sticky on and re-stick them on, or plastic dip them while they... Anyway, that's a hassle. Because it does look like when these arrived, I don't know if you can tell, these kind of look like the same but been plastic dipped by Lotus themselves anyway. I have got the Lotus emblem, the Evora and the S to go on. With me now I only have Lotus and the S. The Evora is on back order and it's all kind of one piece, the Evora badge. So rather than tackle the S and the Evora, or rather tackle the S and not the Evora, I'm going to leave that until I've got the whole Evora script. I'm going to get these off and pop these on. They do come with their own self-adhesive sticky stuff. I'm going to get all this area a little bit clean first, and then I'm going to use, somebody will probably tell me off for this, got some floss for getting behind the letter, just rubbing it down and seeing if that snaps the floss. And it's not going to scratch the paintwork because we don't want to do that, and my floss has literally just run out. I'm going to get some more. Pull away the letter with as much sticky adhesive as possible. My idea now is to get a little bit of cutting compound, get rid of all the sticky stuff. Hopefully it still leaves enough of the shape of where the letter was. I'm going to put the L on and I'm going to do one letter at a time. There's no sort of template for it. I'm just going to go by eye, see what it looks like. Anyway, L's off. Good. Let's get that cleaned. I'm using a little bit of Autoglim's insect, oh, you can see that, insect remover, because it's very good at dissolving things like tar and insects that hit your paint very easily and safely without damaging the paint, and it's doing a pretty good job getting rid of all the plastic. Red paints are better now, and I'm now using my finger now. You can still see there is a shadow of the letter L, the letter L for Lotus. Just making sure all the area is clean. Still some marks there. I'm going to get a tiny bit of cutting compound, smooth that off just to be 100%. I've got a bit of, use this on other cars, it's great, G3 cutting compound just to make sure that it's super smooth where the new letter's going on. Don't go too harsh with it. Once you're happy with the area being smooth and super clean, making sure this is all dry as it can be. Once it's on, it's on. Probably not much scope for moving it around. Of that. L. Well, that was slightly nerve-wracking. I'll push that down gently and try and get the O off. To the O. I was going to talk about... Oh yes, look at that. Piece of cake. I was expecting to have lots of time to chat about owning this car. This car is my second Evora. For those of you who have not seen the other videos on the channel, come take a look. There's a blue, laser blue 2011 Evora S. I like this car because it's got the kind of upgrades to make it more sport racery, which is why we did those Union Jacks earlier. And I like the style of the sport racer. I did, I'll be honest, lose my car mojo a little bit. I still have slightly. I used my 205 GTI for shows, events and things like that more than I use this car. And I use this car primarily for trips to work, which over the winter months on the commute that I was doing, not very nice really. And started to look at what could replace it and whether having it was sort of worth it all, I suppose. With any car like this, what you have to accept, and I'm used to it, I had a lot of different cars that are largely impractical, is you have to sort of accept the impracticalities of it and live with them, I suppose, and put up with them. You then sort of ask yourself, is it better? Well, all right, let's flip this around. The situation is we have 4 cars. One that is decent enough for family duties. You can put the dog in it, you can put the 2 kids in it, and it's an estate, and you can do lots with it. However, should that for whatever reason be incapacitated, it is a hybrid, they have known to have their problems, what car would we use? We have a Peugeot 205. It's got 4 seats, room for the kids in the back, just about. No room for the kids in this, and our other car's an MX-5, so that's 2 seats. It's not going to work. The 205 has not been the most reliable. In fact, it's been one of the most unreliable cars I've had. I think it's let me down 3, if not 4 times now, but I still continue to love it regardless. However, a car that's let you down 4 times, 30 odd years old, French mechanic, you can't really trust to start performing the family duties, and the family duties generally involve long drives and trips and things like that, so you need something. Anyway, where am I going? What it means is, you think, oh well, if for whatever reason something happened to the Mercedes, which meant it was off the road, high voltage battery failed or something bad happened, what would you do? Sort of got me thinking about a more practical replacement for the Evora. That's again a dangerous place to be, and you start finding that you've got an itch that you need to scratch in another area. I've never really had a super fast performance saloon or estate. I think M3 arguably, that was a convertible. So you start looking at other sort of performance saloon cars, estate cars. I was thinking primarily Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. I started to watch a few more videos on YouTube, particularly JM's videos. He's obviously a massive fan of the Evora, and he even exalted, is that the right word? Said a lot of positive things basically about the early Evoras, particularly the S 2011, sort of before they went crazy with the bigger, more horsepower cars, later evolution of the Evoras with bigger superchargers and changing styling. He sort of exalted that this was a nice sort of balanced sweet spot. It felt nimble, the handling was good, and it sort of gave me a bit of a kick up the arse in terms of realising what it was that we had here. Again, you go out in this and drive it around, you never see another one. I think in all the years, including my last one that I owned, unless you're going to a Lotus meet, the only other one you see, the only other one I saw was one. I saw one once. I saw one once. Yeah, which I love. I quite like the old uniqueness of it. It's inspiring. So anyway, uniqueness. But more than that, the driving dynamics and characteristics of this car is just so good. As soon as you get in it, you forget just how good it is, and then you drive it. And if you drive it infrequently, it becomes more of a treat. It becomes more of an event, as they say. And it is absolutely 100% eventful driving this car. Right, I might be silent as I attempt to put the O on. We'll have a look. People are going to judge. I can see where the old O was. Those done. Giving that kick up the arse, seeing how someone fairly well respected, JM, in the motoring community, was singing the praises yet again of the Lotus Evora. It sort of made me realise, I was like, you've got a very good Lotus Evora S. Oh god, that came off easy. Look at that. Done. In the garage. Got a very good Lotus Evora S sat in the garage. That I was hardly using. Wasn't using it very much. Apart from going to work. And a little bit of me, part of that was I don't like driving it on wet roads. And it's very rainy, grim and miserably in winter in the UK. So I was a bit like, oh, don't drive it, don't take it out. And also it stood in the garage, it was a bit of a hassle. Anyway, I give myself a bit of a kick up the arse. Started to use it a lot more. The nights are getting lighter now, which makes it better. The roads are not as full of salt. Not that it matters as quite as much on a plastic bodied car, but it does a bit. It still makes them really dirty and can corrode nice parts. But yeah, I gave myself a little bit of a kick and sort of said it's very unlikely beyond this vehicle. I don't know what car future holds, but while we are here and while we can drive these sorts of things and I own it and it exists, let's carry on using it and driving it more than we were doing. That's what's happened. So yeah, as a consequence, I've decided to do things like this, which was something I wanted to do right from the start, to sort of get me even more invested within it. Once you do these little things on jobs on your car, you get more psychologically invested in them, into the car. If you want your car to feel better, give it a clean and hoover it out, because straight away when you get back in it and drive it, the difference is made. It's a psychology thing. It's quite noticeable. He says, checking my... didn't dislike the silver. Just prefer the black. I think I'm going to do the centre caps black as well. They are coloured yellow on one side and black on the other. Could see the previous owner if you're watching, Jed. The previous owner was also, I say kind enough, it was his car at the time, was also sensible enough to replace the interior with the interior of a sport racer, albeit the dash is as it was, and refurb the steering wheel. Which, small things, but add up to making a huge difference. Done, nearly. We're going to put the last letter S on over here. Just move the camera around slightly. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of the Evora S, have a look at the other videos on the channel. If you like 205 GTIs, some videos of that on there as well. And now, I'm going to put the S on. The final bit. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. See you again next time.